Hi, welcome to Gemini Star Spiritual Wellness. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me today. So, in today's video, we're going to do our weekly tarot reading for May 25th through 31st. So, I'm coming up to the end of May. So, we're going to see what the universe wants to tell us for the collective. So, this is a collective reading for everybody that's watching or who's going to watch the video. So, we will see what the universe is telling us, what guidance it might have for us for this week coming up, May 25th through 31st. All right, here we go. Spirit guides, archangels. What messages are there for collective? May 25th through 31st. I can't believe it's the end of May already. I feel like this month went so fast. And happy Gemini season. We're officially in Gemini now. And just so you know, I'll be doing the astrological update for June. That will be coming out on Tuesday, May 27th. And then on the 31st, there'll be two videos coming out. The one for the following week, the weekly, as well as the June tarot reading. So let's see what's going on here for the collective. Everybody watching. Everybody watching. One more shuffle. All right, let's see what's going on here. Oh, okay. So let me tell you what I got. I got the Three of Swords, then the Ten of Cups, King of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, Six of Cups, the Emperor, and the Four of Cups. So interesting. Okay. All right, so it looks like in the past we have and this is interesting because I remember this from last week. The King of Pentacles came up again last week. Well, I guess it was well as today. And what's interesting about it is coming up with in the past, there's been certain groups, and I was getting this strongly in the last week's meeting, certain groups of people that had all the money, that kind of had control of all the money. So and you could take this on a personal level. It could personally come to you or resonate with you, or it could be, but I'm looking at it more of it globally. My intention is more collective, so the whole, on a global scale. But it could also resonate with you personally. So just remember, take what resonates and then leave what doesn't. Because not everything I say is going to fit everyone's situation because there's going to be a lot of people watching. So there's lots of energies involved. But I was strongly feeling last week, and I'm looking at this, I'm feeling this again, that in the past there was, certain groups of people that had control of all the money, okay, and all the wealth. And that's in the past. So I definitely see that ending. I see that moving forward, we're going to have that's going to break up, and those folks aren't going to have the control over it like they used to. And it's going to be more spread out to everybody. So it's not just going to be, groups of people that have control of all the money. It's going to spread out to everybody on the planet. So it's going to be a more fair system where everybody's going to have access to that resource. In the past, that's what I see in the past, but currently, as a collective, I see that we are definitely having some heartbreak and stress over things. We got the Three of Swords here and that's for the collective itself. So I feel like there's been a lot of stress, there's been a lot of heartbreak, and just feeling sadness, in that lower vibrational place, struggling. And then but the good news is in the situation it's going to get better. So you got the 10 of cups here. So it's going to get better moving forward. And I think it's because we're leaving that structure behind if everybody has, just certain people have all the resources, and it's going to get spread out. So it's going to make things better for everyone else on the planet. So you're not going to be feeling like you're struggling, which is interesting is then you've got this card. You can see they're fighting with the wands there. So it's contentious card, battling it out, fighting. And it's kind of like, we were in this position where we were, sad, stressed out, that, don't have enough, feeling like, we're not, we're not joyful, we're just struggling to survive. And you see how they're fighting each other. So it's kind of like, that's coming to a close, though. The fighting each other for resources, the fighting each other for money, that scarcity mindset that we have to duke it out with each other to get what we need. Because the truth is, we all have what we need. You can manifest it with your consciousness, what you need. But the earth provides enough resources for everybody to live comfortably and to live in joy. But the problem was the way things were in the past system, those resources were being hoarded to certain groups of people. So that's why, not everybody had what they needed. But that's coming to an end. So that's what's going on now. And we might not see it. It's, it's starting to happen now because this is the current energy. But I definitely see an end to the conflict, to, people fighting each other for the scraps, I guess is kind of what I'm thinking when I'm looking at these cards. But that's definitely coming to an end. And it's going to take some time to kind of get the resources out to everybody to get, but and I remember last week it's going to be like in little, kind of like baby steps, like one little thing happens that's going to make it easier and get more money in people's pockets, and then something else is going to happen on top of that a little later. It's not going to be like whoosh, floodgates all at one time, all this money comes at us. It's going to be little like steps. And I think it's going to be mostly like changes in policy, changes in way things have been done, to make it more fair. And that's what's going to open it up. It's going to be changes like that, but it is going to end us up in this energy. So we're going to start feeling joy. So we're going to get out of, hold on, get this other card here. We're going to get out of this energy, that 3 of Swords energy, and go towards the 10 of Cups energy. So we're going to be getting out of that 3 of Swords mindset, the 3 of Swords energy, and getting into the 10 of Cups. So things are going to get easier and better. And I know it doesn't always seem that way, but you have to be very discernment when it comes to information that you're receiving, because a lot of it's not accurate or true. So please use your discernment when you hear things so that you don't get yourself up into an emotional frenzy over it and get worried and all fearful, because that's going to keep you in that lower vibration. So definitely use your intuition when you hear things, to see, because the truth is within you. Your intuition is basically, the divine telling you and guiding you. Yes, this is true. It's not true. So when people say, they follow their gut, always trust your gut. Well, that's true. Your gut instinct is your intuition. So just follow that. If you hear something, if it doesn't feel right to you and you're like, it just doesn't feel like this is accurate, then it probably isn't. So just follow your gut instinct on that. But looking into the near future, there's definitely going to be, because, we're going into this 10 of Cups energy, right? That I just showed you. So going into the future, I definitely feel like there's going to be a lot more kindness towards each other. You're not going to have us duking it out, fighting over scraps anymore. This mentality of, fighting each other for the scraps and, going against each other for resources and having that kind of mindset, that selfish kind of mindset is going away. And it's going to be, much more, how can you say it, like kindness towards each other, helping each other. And there's going to be kind of a nostalgia of um, working together and helping each other. So I think I definitely see in the future, that it's going to get better, and it's going to come, we're getting into that unconditional love mindset. So there's definitely going to be kindness towards each other, and it kind of been nostalgia of um how we thought, like a lot of times you hear people like, oh, in the past people helped each other more, and you hear about older people might tell those stories, but that's kind of what we're going back into is, being kind to each other and helping each other out more than we have, in the last couple decades. Um, so I definitely see, and any advice from the universe I see here, I got the Emperor and we've got the Four of Cups. So I definitely feel that we kind of have with the Emperor, it's like we need to get into, like, the universe is telling us to get into that kind of Emperor energy and to kind of, take charge of our situation, take charge. But we're being offered things that we don't see yet. So see how he's sitting there on the ground, and the universe is offering that little cup, but he's not paying attention to it. He doesn't see it. He's looking at the cups on the ground by my finger. Um, he's not seeing it, and I kind of think that's where we are as a collective, is the universe is like, here's this cup, this is coming to you, but we're so focused on on the cups on the ground of what we don't have, that we don't see this opportunity coming for us. So I think it's going to be the Aries, Emperor's Aries energy. So it's kind of like take charge. It's an action, type of card. So I definitely feel like we have to take action as a collective and take advantage of this opportunity that the divine is giving us. And I think that's one thing we need to remember, is that we're not in this by ourselves. And I know that, it can seem very scary right now. There's a lot of changes, a lot of things going on that can really scare people and get them, concerned. But I think we need to remember that the divine has a plan for us, and we just need to trust in that. And that's kind of what I see with this card. It's like, hey, I'm giving you an opportunity here. Things are going to get much better because we got that 10 of cups. It's like things are going to get better, but we have to take action. We have to, we just can't sit on our laurels and not do anything. We have to take action, whatever, fulfill our missions that we're here to do. And to keep our vibration high and to do these things. So it's going to take action. It's going to take work on our part as a collective to accept that cup from the divine, but in the universe, but we will get to this point of the 10 of cups by following that. So, and just a quick recap, so in the past, like I said, we had groups that had control of everything, money, resources. That's changing. So the whole system's changing. And it's going to take, some time. It's not going to happen overnight. Like I said, it's going to be like little baby steps of things like policy changes and one after another, things like that, that's going to end up putting more money in people's pockets or giving more access to resources for people. And I'm talking about average people, the average people that didn't have, that weren't hoarding it, to everybody else. But it's going to trickle out, but it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen in one big pile of cash. It's going to take some time. But I do see that over the rest of this year, you're going to see it trickle out. But the current energy, we are coming into this, kind of downtrodden and heartbroken, and probably I feel frustration, sadness as a collective, because it's been hard. The last couple years have been really hard, and I know that it's been hard. And so I think as a collective, we're kind of heartbroken and stressed, and our energy's kind of exhausted from it. And so so then that's kind of put us in this mindset of, fighting with each other, um, duking it out, that, in some, and I think the key is to get out of that scarcity mindset that a lot of us have been programmed for probably generations to believe in. I know that's something that I've had to work on from past lives, is that scarcity when it comes to money, like to have a healthy relationship with money and to not have that scarcity mindset. But it's caused us to, fight each other. We're duking it out because we're in this energy of sadness. But that's changing. The good thing is that's changing. And this is the current energy I'm showing you right now. So the good thing is we're changing. If things are changing, we're heading to that 10 of cups. That's what the situation it really is. And I know that we don't see that right now, but I think as going into this week, you might start to see that we are getting into that 10 of Cups energy, or the 10 of Cups energy is there for us already, but we're just now being able to see it or see that it's in the background. So it could be in the background, and we're just now realizing it, having epiphanies of, wow, the 10 of Cups really is there, and we're starting to see that 10 of Cups come out. But yes, and then in the near future, definitely we're going to be much more kind to each other. Um, and that negative energy, that, sadness, that heartbreak, that frustration, that feeling of having to fight with each other, it's going to be gone. And we're going to have that more loving energy towards each other, happy, helping each other, kindness towards each other, and then kind of going back to taking care of each other, like a lot of how it was a lot more in the past with communities. Um, but definitely we need to take action. We can't just, like, the universe is giving us this, opportunity, but we need to take action. And we can't just sit there and be like, well, I'm just gonna not do anything. Let it and expect it to happen. So as a collective across the globe, we need to take action and be able to work together to bring this to fruition, this opportunity that we have. So that's what I have for the week of May 25th through 31st. So thank you for joining me today. Please like and subscribe. When you like the video, it will send it out to other people who need to hear this information. And please subscribe so you get future videos. I will be doing the astrological update for June, and that will come out on May 27th. So that's the next video that will be coming out. And then the end of next week, I will have both the June tarot reading for the whole month as well as the weekly reading for next week. So this is the weekly reading for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.